And I knew the needle was going to move tonight simply because the way I was going to come into this thing, because it been on my dome like for a week. Anytime I send you an invite to jump into this thing, literally a week before it's due, you know I'm feeling good about it. And y'all got this invite like Wednesday, Thursday, last week. So the reason why I titled like we moved the needle tonight, y'all. And the reason why I titled this thing Move the Needle was because it amazes me that 26.9% of Americans are considered in shape or healthy. 26.9%, y'all. And it amazes me that inside of those same numbers, inside of that same statistic, that the US, we rank dead last as the wealthiest countries with chronic treatable conditions like diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and a couple other random heart diseases. Like the other random heart diseases was so random, they just stacked them all into one thing and called them cardiovascular disease. But we rank dead last. And what's crazy is that majority of those conditions can be treated with changing up how we eat and exercise. And what's really creating massive havoc inside of most people who say they want to get in shape, who say they want to eat better, who say they want to feel better, what's creating a massive havoc is that they can't remain focused. They can't remain dedicated enough to what they want. And they constantly falling victim to their advice, just doing everything which directly contradict their experience in a life which will make them happy, simply because we are paralyzed inside of being comfortable where we are right now. See, not only do I chat with y'all about like your meals and your movements, I chat with other people who volunteer their information. You know, people always coming up to me in the gym, want to chit chat a little bit, want to tell me a little bit about what's going on with them. But when they talking to me, they either telling me a half truth or they telling me what they want to do, and it's never not what they exactly what they are doing. See, there's a disconnect there. There's a massive disconnect there. See, they see themselves as being consistent, but they're consistent at doing the wrong thing. If you're spending more time being entertained watching somebody else improve their life, when are you going to move your own comfort needle? When are you going to move your mindset needle? When are you going to move your meals needle? When are you going to move your movement needle? And not always trying to move your entertainment needle. Right now, your biggest asset right now is your attention. When I say your attention is your biggest asset, everyone is fighting for your attention. Before I came on, I was looking at stats to figure out what is the average budget for marketing ad for your attention. The average budget per month is $10,000 a month just to get your attention. That's $120K per year just to get your attention. And when I say everyone's trying to get your attention, they really are. They try to get your attention in commercials. They try to get your attention on your device. Hell, they're getting your attention by the old school way, word of mouth, aka gossip. But while everybody's trying to get your attention, how much time could you have spent reading that book to bulletproof your mindset? How much time could you have like practiced those meal plans? Practice some meal plans on your phone instead of scrolling through IG, TikTok, Facebook, seeking monetary, emotional entertainment. Like how many times? How many times could you have like reviewed some notes that you took from a seminar that you went to? I don't even want to talk about the ebooks you downloaded. How many times have you tried a recipe out of those things? How many times have like I said, yo, do you have any questions inside this macro meetup, but you stay silent? How many times? Like, I'm not judging you. I'm just asking you, what are you doing with your time that you could truly be moving the needle in the direction in a direction inside this fitness game that you want to move in? This boils down to like a really intimate level. Like, how intimate are you with your time with activities that's producing fruit that's going to progress you inside this fitness game? Like, what are you giving your attention to, and what kind of fruit is it producing for you? My wife like to tell me action shows everything. So for me, like, I've been intentionally being more open with my communication with Natasha inside our marriage. I've been intentionally moving my schedule around to make sure I'm attending Kenya's whatever game she's in, whether it's a soccer game, track and field, whatever she's doing, I intentionally maneuver my schedule around so I'm present, so that I'm in attendance. I gotta be, because those actions are bearing fruit with my wife and my daughter. But that fruit only exists because the roots of the tree are constantly being fertilized with what I've learned about communication, what I learned about intimacy, what I've learned through books, what I've learned through courses, what I've learned through webinars, what I learned through seminars, all that stuff I had to learn throughout the year. And I can't tell you how dope it is to be in a season of harvest with my wife and my daughter, because everything I learned over the years, everything that I'm applying from those things I learned over the years is starting to bear fruit. Like, I get overwhelmed when like Natasha and I connect on some stuff, and you know, when I really get overwhelmed, like when Natasha and I we connect, and it's on some stuff that like would normally would send me into a non-communication mode for like 2 to 3 weeks. Like I'll shut down on her for 2 or 3 weeks. Won't talk to her, barely talk to her. Like I get overwhelmed because like now it's only 1 or 2 days at the most before like we trying to hear each other out. We're trying to like, you know, we're apologizing. Like we're figuring out like where the communication got broken down at. And most importantly, we're moving forward on the same page. I'm talking about bearing fruit, y'all. And it makes it much easier for me to get out there and work that soil. See, some days it ain't always sunny and pleasant, but that's a part of being a farmer. That's a part of being a creator. That's a part of being a fruit bearer. It's cultivating during the worst of time so you can harvest during the best of time. So what are you doing with your time so you can bear some fruit? Now I know some of y'all gonna say, but Chris, I'm working my ass off in the gym. I'm killing in the gym. Man, that's cool. But what you doing outside of the gym? Because that's where you actually plant your seeds, man. Okay, Chris, but man, I'm working my ass off outside the gym. Okay, cool. Bro, I'm glad you're working your ass off outside the gym because that's where you plant your seeds. But check this out. Are you nurturing your seeds outside the gym? Because your seeds can't grow if you're too busy investing quality time and energy and somewhere else it don't need to be. Being a fruit bearer, bro, it's a full-time job. This ain't no summer internship. You can't come in here and thinking like you're gonna do an internship and you're gonna harvest all the things that you want to harvest. It's a full-time job, dog. And we're just like 35 days into 2024. And I need all of y'all to bear some fruit this summer. You putting in the work. I need all of y'all to bear some fruit. The possibilities, like man, the possibilities are endless. So don't use your distraction because of a fear, like your fear of actually losing weight. So you'll create a distraction. You got a fear of actually putting on some lean muscle. So you'll create a distraction. You got a fear of getting rid of some clothes that are too big for you now. So you'll create a distraction so you can stay in them clothes. This is like, it's a dysfunctional belief system, man. And the default button is set on fear. Like every time like you'll get to a certain point, all of a sudden you feel like you stuck. Like every time you get to a certain point inside the fitness game, then all of a sudden you feel like you can't move past that level. Like every time you hit a certain number on the scale and that number looks unfamiliar to you and you're not familiar with it, all of a sudden you feel like you're bumping your head up against something and now you got to stop. You got to reformat your software because your hardware can no longer operate on that old ass software you using. You got a different body now. You got a different body than you had 10 months ago. You got a different body than you had 6 months ago. You got a different body than you had 3 months ago. And that different body demands a different mindset because you can't solve your new body problem with an old body mindset. You got to upgrade. You got to go inside. You got to change that default button. So I'm going to ask you again. We're living longer, y'all. We're living longer. And most of those years are riddled with health issues. So how many of those years do you want to enjoy being among the 26.9% that are living longer yet healthier? How many want to be in that percentile? How many want to be in that percentile where there's no pills inside the medicine cabinet? How many?